And we are in! Salutations, class, and welcome back. I hope y'all have had a wonderful, wonderful week so far. Here we are on Thursday, getting back into Megaman 3, where we last left off. We had gotten through about... okay, hold on. Should be able to load, and it should have me roughly at a halfway point here. Yeah, we got through with 5 of the Robot Masters, so we're halfway through that first section, and for what I hear, everything past the Robot Masters is going to be a very, very long trek. So we're going to start off trying something a little different from Snake Man, considering that's what we ended up at the end of last stream. And he was giving me quite a bit of trouble. So let's move on to Needleman and give him a try. And we'll see if we're a better fit for Snake Man after a little bit more training. Wonder what his weakness would be. I don't even remember if we figured it out. Warmest welcomes to Storm and Marky. Glad to see both of y'all. They're considerably faster than me. Alright, gotta get used to the slide again. Look like a more modern cityscape. I do appreciate that we have the porcupine enemies here on the needle level. Those are not a solid wall. Got it. Yeah, we can't have our bullets collide with those, so we'll just slide right over. I don't even think we have a reason to be using that ammo, honestly. Oh, okay. So, yeah, as per usual, there's going to be a lot of trial and error of us figuring out a lot of these patterns the very first time around. Like whatever the attack range is on these guys. Or it might be a timing. Yeah, it's a timing. Not that I necessarily have to be fighting those guys either. I'm pretty sure those shots are positioned exactly to shoot me if I was running on the upward level. So let's... Yeah, some of them are triggered by distance, some of them are just attacking on a timing. So yeah, we'll get surprised the first few times, but we should be able to figure things out pretty readily from there. Okay, so those aim directly at us, not in the same arc every time. Call me legitimately impressed that something that was on the NES has somewhat more intelligent enemy behavior than what I've seen in a lot of other games, and we are in trouble. Got him on both sides now. Yeah, a little bit of precision gets us through that just fine. I keep getting caught off guard by the fact that they're popping up from off screen again. There we go, okay. Is that a... I forget what the names of the little guys with the helmets are. Is that a big one hiding underneath there? Right, 3 shots to destroy those guys. Luckily, we've got infinite continues, so we'll slowly just get better as time goes on. Yeah, as you'd expect from an enemy like that. Oh, we can actually grind stuff off of the needles, okay. Though I'm not good enough at dodging those bullets to be able to just sit there and grind those out. Howdy, brother in blue. Okay, so that's not hidden. Wait, not even when the cannon was out? Okay, so yeah, not at all. It's my first time playing through Mega Man 3 on my first time playing through any of the classic... any Mega Man games whatsoever, actually. So yeah, expect me to go through quite a bit of learning arc here. Learning curve, that's what I meant. Spark is only good for bosses. Noted, noted. And still got hit. Alright. Alright, careful. We are still inevitably going to get clobbered, but let's try. Well, it worked, but we still got hit. Oh, still clip me. Alright. See if we're in a different zone altogether yet? Oh, well, it slid right in before I was even looking. Yeah, that was what I was expecting, that we'd get to a second save point here. I thought I saw another needle popping down over here. Okay. So we're gonna have to do a little shimmy back and forth while we're underneath here. Kind of like that, but with a bit more horizontal moving. How strict is the Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than it looks. Actually, I don't know if there's timing or even enough space to stand in between them. It's probably really precise given how the difficulty has been for Mega Man so far. Totally not first, but you got it anyway. Welcome, Shirakaze. Alright, see if we can get just that exact amount of spacing we'd need. Okay, so it is possible. It's just very, very strict. He's gonna roll down here and stop right there in the middle. Okay, okay. Can I hit them from any angle while they're unrolled, or is it only from the front like that? Oh, can I not angle those downwards like Metal Blade? Well, time to find out. Because I know Metal Blade we were able to aim... Okay, so we can aim them upward and we have to be... Nope! Can't angle them downward whatsoever. Nerf the Metal Blade. That's exactly what my friend was telling me. Metal Blade unfortunately ended up carrying me a bit too well in Mega Man 2. Alright, got the right spacing there. I guess we could use that little bit of ammo. Oh, that's only one shot? Alright. then yeah, using some of our alternative weapons would be a lot more useful. If I could aim them, thank you. A little bit before I was prepared for him. If we're just right on the timing, we get them right as they pop out. And got hit with the collision. Alright, we'll get better at it. I think this is so far the most difficult stage that we've gotten through. Because yeah, we still got through to the end of Snake Man stage pretty well. Even if we couldn't figure out the boss. I think that might be the technique. Just go ahead and intercept their first projectile and then jump over the second. I do like that in spite of how hard these games are, there is a somewhat intuitive way to solve every one of these problems. And no ammo pickup for me. I wonder if they don't respawn if their projectiles are still on screen, if that's like a trick to it. Like if they load from the same memory. Because we know a lot of the enemies in here will reappear if you go off screen. But I wonder if keeping the projectiles around is actually a way to kind of get past that. He waited. Still missed him. That would be health. We don't need to worry about switching weapons. They're gonna keep giving us lives, even though we just keep blundering. Right, and we gotta slide again. There we go, we got that one. I still feel like I'm getting clipped a pixel or two off, but that's mostly just the fact that a lot of these collision boxes will be rectangles, of course. Despite the fact that the needle is definitely not a rectangle. Let's see. Right there in your blind spot. He's not gonna roll off the edge, is he? So, we'll see if we can shoot him in the back. I think a bit of knuckling should go for him. Ah, still gets intercepted, alright. Okay, so he's vulnerable anywhere as long as he's open. Forgot about our good buddy for a moment here. There we go. And honestly, while we're on a roll, I might as well burn that now. Yeah, we got the rhythm for it. Figured that out last time. Yeah, a lot easier the second time around. And these guys were always giving us a problem, but we can, well, try to slide right underneath them. Oh, I didn't think we'd be at the boss that quickly. 3 lives, so we have plenty of tries here. Alright, what would a needle be weak to? Well, presumably magnets if you can pick them up. Nope, he resists that. Oh, well. Yeah, so it seems like he's completely immune to that one. Of course, now it's going to be a challenge of figuring out what type he's weak to, and no one tell me. That's something for me to figure out on my own. Alright, gotta get way closer for that. Does fairly normal damage there. We might not have his weakness yet. I'll see if we can just get him with the base weapon. It seems like he's not too difficult to dodge. We already fought someone who was weak to the spinning top, so I'll hazard a guess we just don't have his weakness. Remember, we gotta use the slide. He does seem to be pretty tanky, though. We tried magnets already. These will be easier to hit him with, at least. Since he does a lot of jumping. Even if it's not that much damage, it's probably one of the better weapons to be hitting him with. Yeah, we at least got a significant part of his health. Ah. So as long as we get the timing right, we can jump over like the first 2 needles, and duck under the second 2. Okay, so it seems like the stage is a little bit short, comparatively. Wait, yeah, if we just shoot through the needles, we can... Yeah. We can just gun these guys down. Still clipped on the corner. Yeah, it's possible. Just gotta be ready right after that second shot, which we get to see in their animation at least. So yeah, I got through there with a lot less harm than before. We do not need ammo. These guys we can use the Shadow Blade on. I swear I've heard the music for the stage somewhere before, but I don't know where. We're getting better, we're getting better. Weak streak, let's go! Hit him with the Bew Cannon! Pew pew! Now we're learning that the dragonflies will hover slightly above your shots at some times. There we go, we're learning, we're learning. Now the hard part. Oh, I think I had it and then I moved a little bit too far. I'm just gonna run through that while I get the iframes. And this one's gonna have the other porcupine. Wait, no, not that. I want Shadow. No, I said Shadow. And we'll just have to grab that health. Yeah, this looks like a situation for magnets. What? Oh, it went towards the needles, okay. So we just have to be really, really precise with our timing. Way more precise than that, so... Does this go through walls? Yep, that's not helping us. One point of health, let's go. And still got one life to make it. How much health do those guys have, anyway? A good thing we did shoot him. So it's like 6 hits, I think? Okay, so he does jump directly on you. Wonder what's with him shooting the needles in random directions after the KO. That one's probably going to do a lot of extra damage, so once he starts getting close... Right, I can't switch weapons while my other attacks are on screen. Might as well just dump him while we got him. Almost. Are we sure he's... Well, let's try it. So we can hit him anytime with the regular weapon, so I don't think he's conditionally vulnerable. So I think if an attack can't hit him, then it can never hit him. Yeah, so he's just not hurt at all by Knuckle. Never by Spark. Shadow doesn't do anything more than the regular weapon, so I think after this... Unless Top's secretly his weakness. Yeah, no. So we don't have whatever he's weak to. Meaning it would probably be good to go to a different stage. Alright, let's try Gemini Man. He didn't have that difficult of a pattern to dodge, but he has so much HP that I'd rather just have whatever weapon he's weak to. Sort of in ice level, it looks like. I can see this one being super catchy, yeah. Seems like magnets are very useful in this stage. So they dip below you when they get close? Or they dip downwards, it looks like... Yeah, okay, so it's that downwards arc whenever they get close, meaning if they start horizontal to you, they will duck underneath. Game's been awfully generous with lives so far. We've been getting them a lot more than even just like a full health. There we go. Ow! Okay. As long as we don't fall off the edge. Shadowblade's the MVP here. Oh boy, it's him again. Oh? Yeah, another way we're gonna get back up from there. Yeah, that one's Rush Marine, so I guess this isn't quite water level yet. Even though it very much looks like a water level right now. So I guess that one doesn't count. Let's see if we can carve our little way up here. Oh! I think we should be able to shoot the rest of them from here. There we go. Oh, well, we already shot open the container and it had a tiny ammo pickup. I think this is water because what are those other than fish eggs? They've got tadpoles coming out of them. But what clued me into it looking like water was the fact that a lot of the background blocks look like coral. And these look like the ripples you see on the surface of water or on the bottom of surfaces from the light diffraction coming through them. So yeah, this looks very water, but it's not. Do I need ammo for it? Well, I guess by technicality I need ammo for Rush. So far, I think this might be the easiest stage we've had to work with. Slide on through, and... you again! And another life! I'm guessing we just go past them then. It's almost technical. Well, if it wasn't for the dragonfly, that might actually just be the easiest place to grind for items. All the way back here? That I wasn't expecting. I suppose if the rest of the stage is that easy, it kind of makes sense. A lot of the other stages have had a pretty easy checkpoint to get to. Thank goodness. The difficult bouncy trajectory of those eggs. Luckily, Shadow tends to have a lot of ammo to work with. just gotta be a little bit more alert. Yep, we got the timing. And now we're running out. Wow, we barely get any magnets. But alright, we got through the hard part. Got that this time. Yeah, I mean, come on. All of this looks like water. Oh! Thank you. We already know there's no power-up up top that we're looking for, so we'll just do this. Just got out of class. Be here in 20 minutes. Hope the game has been kinder. I'll catch you up when you get here, Kayla. Glad to see you. Get lots of ammo back on that one, and I think we could just grind out for a lot more ammo and health while we're here. Now, are we capable of... Yeah, I think we're capable of jumping up to that ladder's height. Yeah, we're pretty much full on everything. Alright, Megaman. We're like barely missing any ammo on Shadow, so we'll take that. And hopefully there's a checkpoint soon after this, because this is one of the longer levels without one. Yeah, I feel like we kind of had to use the macro there to make sure we got the shot off. Alright, good to go. So we've already done enough grinding for all of the upgrades and such we'd need. So it does seem to be a pretty steady pace that they're doing that in. Is that the weak spot? No, I think he just sits there spewing those out. I'm just waiting until we get a health pickup. Right, that's probably one of my biggest complaints, is that I try to hit the pause menu to open up my inventory, but I can't even swap. I can't even do that if I have projectiles on the field. There we go, there's a big one. Okay, I still don't know what the deal... Oh, shooting the eyes? Okay. I wouldn't get much feedback with the eyes, but I see that working now. Noted. That'll be a very common weak point for a lot of these enemies. Let's try... Oh, not at the boss yet. There we go. There's the water section. So... Oh, that's cute, but we're on a timer. This is bad. This is real bad. Oh, and I didn't even swap back to another weapon, so I had nothing to do there. That's gonna put me at the very... Nope! Here's our checkpoint. Okay. Is that even a jump we can make? I think so. Yeah, okay. Just gotta watch out for the dragonfly. Okay, so those do go through the wall, through the platforms. Yep, sadistically placed right there over the bottomless pit. That is a... Oh, nope, we do have another life. We've got 2 more lives, actually. Now, is there anywhere we can actually trigger an enemy popping in? Like, if we run out of ammo and rush here, are we just stuck? I don't trust myself to make the jump back up after I go down there. I feel like I'm gonna bump my head on this block right here. Right, the instant they have the chance to turn around, they will. So, we can fake out the dragonflies by jumping a little bit early, and then they'll soar right over us when we're back on the ground. Keep that in mind. Or not. Yeah, we messed up the timing on that one. We will want more emergency ammo for us just in case. Sadistic lingering explosions. There we go, okay. For what I remember, those guys were invulnerable as long as they were on the ground. Because I think we even tried hitting them with magnets and it didn't work. And those guys don't get magneted either. Oh, you're kidding me. I think he's kind of in a place where we can't just jump over him. And we got so far, too. Yeah, we'll try that one again. I was just mashing through start because I wasn't sure when the dialogue was gonna pop back up, but I think we can do this stage. Then Snake Man, and then I think Needle Man ends up being last. Worry about the Dragonfly's weakness first, and worry about Gemini Man later. Very, very fair. You know, we can probably... We might even just be able to one-shot them with the top power. Well, welcome to here. The dragonflies give us less trouble when we know where they are. They're really only a problem when they pop up when we're not expecting them. I wonder if this encounter with Proto Man is always like this, or if this only happens after you've beaten him enough times. That specific switch is colored like him, so... maybe that's the only way to unlock that spot, is just by having him do it. That's a health pickup anyway. Well, that's something. And we didn't really spend too much to get there. Get more dog juice back. Yeah, and it's another situation where we gotta use Rush. What an ugly little tadpole. There we go. Also, those organic, are they implicitly tadpole robots? Hatching out of robot eggs? While playing the Hololive game's competitive minigame, you have a positive certainty you encountered one of the firms as a competitor? One of the firm's talents. You don't like robot egg? Oh, it's just another one of Eggman's robots. Alright, remember, eyes. Yeah, there's no feedback that you're hitting the eyes other than the fact that the projectiles disappear. But alright. If an enemy's got big goofy eyes, you gotta shoot for him. You faced a VTuber celebrity. What makes you think that? Like, as a positive certainty. We don't need ammo, we need health. Like that. Right, I forget he's a big hitbox too. And yeah, I'll stop to read the message once I'm done keeping an eye out for these. I don't need ammo! Give me health. Username plus everything from the previous stream. Well, that's a pretty cool coincidence. Hope you've been having fun with that game. I have paid zero attention to larger VTubers since I started my own VTubing arc. So I don't know what's going on up in those kinds of spaces these days. I just pay attention to my close friends. Made the mistake of trying to run into the penguin to get the little bit of health. Yeah, those drops are a lot less common, but I think we can get them just fine. Oh! I think we're good enough to go. Or we could just get back to very, very low health again. How does the big penguin have so much HP? I guess technically this is one of the easier enemies to fight if I was just patient enough and sat here grinding out health pickups. Yeah, like, if you just sit here and lock in, it's hard to make a mistake. Oh, heck yeah! Glad to see you getting some work again. Unemployment is not fun. Unless you have a job guaranteed when you get back. And in this case, me taking a week off from vacation has been a wonderful, wonderful time. I've had so much of a chance to catch up on sleep. I'll just, use one of those instead. Oh, right when they drop a bigger health pickup. Well, I'm probably gonna need that anyway. There we go. We don't really gotta worry about the dragonflies except when they're in juxtaposition to something else. I wonder what the C stands for. Because we know Rush Marine is, well, RM, but what's the C for Rush with the Spring? Rush Coil! Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I turned around too early! Well, we got to the checkpoint at least. Alright. Bring the chair up a little bit. Take a sip and lock in. Projectile, and then here we end up getting a dragonfly. Save Rush Marine until we reach the extra You know, that is a good point. I feel like the Rush Marine's just gonna end up being a lot more useful way later once we get to post-Robot Master section. Yeah, and we get the E-Tank back. Careful, careful, very careful. Yeah, we're not getting past those guys without getting shot anyway, and kind of the same thing with this guy. Alright, see what Gemini Man do. Oh, well, of course he's gonna double up. I think they have a slightly different pattern to when they do shoot, so... Alright, we know at least what the gimmick is now. Oh, there's 2 of them. I'm going to think about which one is hotter. Exactly, Votem, exactly. Allie? Allie's sister. Allie? Or Allie's sister? So they do turn around and shoot as well. Oh, wait. Shadows is weakness? Big time? Yeah, because the pattern isn't actually all the worst to dodge. So he's 2 different gimmicks then. Alright. Take down 1, then that'll be his second health bar. Yeah, I think we just continue with this anyway. I think we only got 1 more life anyway. Yeah. Might as well use the other E-tank while we have it too. Hold on, let me pause the game while a projectile's aimed right at me and just consume one of my healing items. Thank you very much. You 12 shots. I'm thinking of, there's like a few bosses in Kirby that have that gimmick, where they fire a laser that bounces off the corners of the screen. Yeah, let me eat the 30 cheese wheels. I'm glad you got exactly what I was thinking of, Levy. And Gemini Laser barely changes his colors at all. Alright, let's try Snake Man again. There's some UFO enemies like that. I'm thinking specifically of, I think it's the Halberd's Engine boss fight. There's one little turret that'll come down from the ceiling and fire a tiny blue laser that bounces off the walls just like that. I love how all the rest of these are kind of what you'd expect to be robot setups, and then one of them's just Snake Man. A robot with all the powers of a snake. We're back in Snake because we never beat Snake. We ended up getting into the 3-hour point at the end of Snake, and we didn't never actually beat the boss. Because I was remember I was super tired at the very end of last stream, so gotta learn the snake respect dance to Battle Snake Man. Yeah, it was towards the end of the stream we got into the 3-hour point. It had, I think it, when was our last stream day? It was last Tuesday, right? That would have been still on a work day, so I think I was just really, really tired in the afternoon that day. But yeah, we didn't end up beating the boss. I think we got to the point where I was wavering my focus once we were getting to all the floating platforms and such, so I kept getting, kept falling off the edge. Got caught in the rain when you messaged. You barely missed the train. They hit you with the next train in 22 minutes. Yeah, I'm a lot more prepared for streaming today. A lot better rested. I mean, I've had a whole week to sleep for this one. We haven't Tomodachi'd in like 2 weeks, though. So that's gonna be wild when we get back in. Everything better be in order on the island once we return. Fell asleep during class, been sick during the weekend, any illness makes you just knock out. For my Cal 2 course, that was at like 8 AM. Which doesn't seem that bad these days, but I guess when you have a super difficult college course, and you're expected to sit down, you're expected to get up at like 6 or 7 AM. And then just sit there in class at 8 AM and not fall back asleep. It's different trying to sit in class. Votum, because I like you, I'm gonna give you one more chance and we can still be friends. We do not accept the jokes of that poor quality around here. Yeah, I am kidding with you, because I know a lot of people enjoy the irony of the humor, but I'm not going to indulge it. I do not endorse ironic humor about here. We're genuine about our jokes. Wait, you can destroy those after they pole vault? That makes this way easier. But yeah, it was absolutely just nodding off during the Cal 2 course. Which was also one of the more difficult courses anyway. Yeah, we haven't even tried the Gemini laser yet. Legit a good weapon, but not for the intended use. Speaking of Yukari, we gotta play more Soku. I haven't been labbing that game. I gotta learn my Alishin. So again, the issues I have with this game are mostly products of it being a very, very old game like that. Yeah, when we see them, back up. 6 hits straight in a row. Sounds like that'd be good for any boss that could get hit by it. Okay, so as the platforms are coming up, we kind of want to jump out of the way just in case. Yeah, try and stand centered until you start running to jump off. Yeah, what happened to Shirakaze was I was standing on the platform, and then when the cloud platform rose from below, it pushed me off the side. The, rolling hedgehogs enemies, right? The ones from, Needleman stage. Alright, I'll use the Gemini weapon for those. Also, the fact that ammo stays the same between lives makes me paranoid to keep using all the other cool weapons we got. I know Magnet's good for this spot right here. So the pole vaulter, run back just a little bit. Four and 6 have the secret energy balancer too. I mean, I imagine any of the issues I have about the series are gonna go away with the newer iterations that have a lot more quality of life stuff. Because so far my complaints are really just old video game style complaints. The core game design I've really loved so far. 5, you just don't use the weapons. I'm guessing the base weapon is that much stronger. More like intuitive, gotcha. I don't even know if we need Rush Coil to get over this, but I'm gonna pretend we do. I do like the animations for the clouds in the background. It's really cute. Yeah, we want to jump anytime the platforms are getting close. This is not one of those games where we have an invisible ceiling. Got it. Yeah, that's what I wonder, Shirakaze, is there's nothing about snakes in this section of the level. Okay, we're doing okay on lives and health. Cloud snakes? Is this Metal Gear 6 that we're talking about? Also, you still find it funny how last time you jokingly asked which robot seems the most punchable, and it led me to the right answer. They're all punchable, except, Needleman. I wouldn't want to punch a needle. He also took no damage from the hard knuckle, so I assume that's intended. Well, there it was again. A ceiling wrap glitch? Alright, take a drink while we have a break. made to mine materials with needles? I guess. I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, a pickaxe is just a really, really fat needle when you think about it. Not again! I knew there was another cloud coming, but I was hoping we could jump past it or under it or over it. Afraid of nurses because he hates injections. At least the Shadow Blade's okay in a lot of situations. Like, it's not nearly as good as Metal Blade, but nothing's as good as Metal Blade. Yeah, I think it's funny that these aren't one-off bosses, but that they do have a lot of personality to them. Give me more... Ah! No more magnets. Shadow Blade's twice as strong. I've noticed it's doing seemingly a lot more damage. Also, someone in the chat earlier said Spark is only good against bosses. If we're put into a bad situation like that, we can probably slide around the other direction too. Why isn't it this stage that gets the I Can't Beat song? Item number 2 would be Saving Grace, as the lyrics suggest. Yeah, overall, those platforms has certainly been an issue. Oh yeah, we gotta shoot him first. And it's just health twice. No ammo. He's nervous and throws meteors at people just like you? I didn't know you picked up Faust. Hey, health! Look! You're twice! I'm so delighted to have so many Homestar Runner enjoyers in my chat. My friends and I have been discussing a lot of, internet history lately. And that includes a certain number of, old Kajito-kun videos. The guy responsible for over 9,000, as well as the Gutsman's ass meme. Though I have to ask Kahila, do any emotions come to mind when I say real brother relationship? Right, I think you can, like, shoot them 3 times and get rid of the little flying bullet guys. He swapped weapons to take advantage of the freeze. It wears off. Also, no, you're a fake YouTube poop fan? Alright. Well, pop in the Discord chat. I got something to show you afterwards. Okay. I got a little bit nervous and I'm like, oh, I gotta jump over him still. So we can just use the macro to shoot those guys. Although, Shadow Blade does like 3 points of damage, so I think we can use that too. What are you paying me tuition for? I think you'll get a laugh. Yeah, that was definitely a big Butterfinger situation. Right! 6 hits on the laser. Yeah. Let's just do that. Though I wanted to save that up to see if that was the weakness for Snake Man. Though, Gemini is like... Yeah, that's pretty inexpensive. Okay, so it only works after they decloud anyway. Yeah, we just gotta be careful when you shoot him, that's all. There we go. Hey Xander, what is Gemini Man's weapon? Gemini laser? Is this a D's nuts kind of joke setup? But I say it's a... Blue laser! Cheat commandos! Rock on! It's not doing too much damage to him. I forget if we even figured out what his weakness was. I don't know if we tried Spark. Remember the estrogen tanks. Well, you recommend staying near the middle, but with how much he's jumping around, I don't think that's helpful. So it's definitely not that. Yeah, I don't think we have anything that's particularly his weakness for what I know. These hardly qualify as pants. Alright. Two tanks, 0 lives. Yeah, okay, the Gemini laser's useless in boss fights. I think this is just another boss fight where we just gotta spam whatever weapon we got a lot of. Oh, completely immune to magnets. Let's hope that's enough. I guess so, but now we're out of, can't believe I'm saying this. Now we're out of estrogen. Yeah, the Shadow Man weapon was doing pretty well. I was kind of, panicking at the very end there, which is why I forgot to switch back to, Search Snake, okay. That's why I forgot to switch back to the Shadow weapon. Alright, before we hop on to our last stage, let's go ahead and take a, break real quick. 10k short of gender touring, oh boy. I haven't used that redeem in a while. I know a lot of people watching have the points for it, but I don't really know when it's all that special to use. Alright, I'm gonna go get a refill on tea. We will be right back in just a moment. Y'all really had to do it, huh? Y'all had to hit the button, didn't you? Alright, alright, alright. Welcome back, everyone. I got me, some more peppermint tea. And I guess thank you, or maybe everyone else in the chat thanks you, Levy. Alright, on to Needleman time. And thank you so much for the tuition tier! Get E-tanked. See, that's something I've been thinking about very, very strongly lately, tier, is like... out of any of the old console memorabilia, potentially, the thing that... like, I'm not big on gathering retro consoles and stuff like that, but for some reason... something's really been clutching my heart lately and making me think, you know, I think I'd be happy to have a Dreamcast. Maybe mostly to see the originally intended versions of... oh yeah, we get to see what snakes are like. I mean, I imagine it's a... yeah, exactly like what he used. Just slides along the wall. Though it looks like the ammo's pretty efficient on it. But yeah, I've always wanted to see the actual original versions of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 when they were on the Dreamcast. Also, I've always enjoyed Sega stuff, like, in general. In fact, y'all would actually see me playing a lot of Sonic Cross Worlds Racing if it wasn't for the fact that they, used AI for Crazy Taxi. And I found out about that right before I started having a good enough paycheck to where I was thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe I will get Sonic Cross Worlds Racing. And then they changed my mind on that. Hello, you don't know what to play? You want to lab Sane and Hisoten Soku so that you can join Tier Kahila and I sometime. Saturn Symphony of the Night and Saturn Sakura Wars. Right. Games for different consoles did have very different versions back then. I will confess I haven't played too many... I haven't played nearly enough... oh right, I forgot about the Needles. I haven't played enough of Sega's non-Sonic properties. I'd probably love just the design of a lot of the other ones that they have. I think it would be cool to have an old Sega console to be able to play around with a lot of those other games. The Crazy Taxi AI problem was honestly minor, but not ignorable. You're more disappointed in the mechanics and voice clips. I think any inclusion of AI is enough for me to write something off completely. Like... I was seeing a thread on Blue Sky earlier today about people... hold on, what were we doing with, yeah, it was Gemini Beam we wanted to use against these guys. Well, if I could actually shoot past the needles with it. Sakura Wars to get me into dating sims? It's gonna be really, really hard to actually get me to start playing dating sims or anything of that caliber. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna be big into VNs either. I think I've come to the understanding that I prefer games having a bit more mechanical complexity at this point, and I tend to enjoy a game significantly less if there's less for me to do in it, if that makes sense. Though, maybe a good very good hardcore story kind of game could get me to change my mind on that. I don't know the full breadth of what Disco Elysium is like for RPG mechanics or whatever. I don't know if it's mostly a go-around and talking simulator, but I could probably get behind that. And could probably help me change my mind on those things. Or maybe I just need a game with a good enough story for me to focus on. You hate autocrats. Always killed Gemini Man last, though you've only played through a couple of times. Disco is mostly going around and talking, although it does have stats and dice rolls to dictate it. I mean, that's kind of mostly what I've been doing in Morrowind so far anyway. For basically my whole week off, I'd been playing a little bit of Morrowind, figuring out what I don't like, finding a mod to fix what I don't like about it, and I think after a week straight of doing that, I'm in a good position now. If y'all are interested in Morrowind streams, that's definitely something I could just pop in on an afternoon that I have off. Just do like a big 6 or 8 hour stream for y'all. Not getting much more lore for Gemini other than the obvious. An appearance in something called Super Adventure Rockman? I think I'm gonna quit trying to actually step in between the needles here. And then I get it perfectly on the next try. Yeah, there's no way to avoid him once he starts crawling towards you. To create holographic copies of himself to confuse? To confuse others, or to confuse himself? Alright, in this case, we're just gonna jump up immediately and... Yeah, I know the beam does a ricochet gimmick, but Kahila was saying the important part was the fact that it does 6 hits. Though... we weren't really in much of a position to abuse that. There, we got the estrogen, y'all. I keep forgetting I have the other model on. It bugs me. The model I use less is the one that has better tracking and... like, it's the one that was made second, and it is the better one that, functionally. Is this the joke we're making, Xander Turing, but the Gemini is just the gender swap version? I'm going to try to legitimately defeat this enemy in at least the environment where it seems most feasible. We know you're immune to magnets. Okay, Shadow Blade is the weapon. It may have better tracking, but what? Is it uncanny? Has less grip. I do think it has significantly less personality than the male model, for sure. That's, like, I think it would fit a lot better if I was doing the voice acting that I started out with. If I had a lot more of a higher-pitched feminine inflection to my voice, I think it would hit differently with a lot more impact, but I'm at the point where I've dropped the voice acting completely, and I guess all that we have left to try is Gemini and Snakes to see what Needleman's weak to. There's a reason I've stuck with the male model, mostly. In between the 6 months of me getting the commission and starting streaming. Okay, that is not your weakness. Then the other thing to try is... Right, I forget. Gemini Laser's going to be weird. Alright, we tried again. Of course, it's hard to actually hit him with the darn thing. Oh, but it is his weakness. I think we just brute force this one. And then make sure we don't miss. Wait, no. Give me the laser. There we go. Alright, Robot Master's down. And let me guess, we're only 1/3 of the way through the game. So his weakness is the green shell bouncing off the walls. Oh, probably would have been better to beat that level a lot earlier. Oh? Get ready for the best bad part in the series. So is it the part that sucks in the fun way? Because I just told y'all I've been playing Morrowind, so I'm definitely a fan of... I like the way this sucks. Do we gotta go back through a hard mode of each and every one of these? Oh boy. Alright, you know, I do like the interpretation of that. Hold on. I gotta lock in. Let me boost the seat up a bit. That's what I should have done on my week off, is get a darn new office chair. The gas pump on this one's broken, so it keeps just slowly falling back to its minimum height. I do like that idea, though, of... I'm going to assume these levels are redone in a way that... Let's see. Redone in a way that I assume... Oh! We can stand on those. Redone in a way that they expect you to tackle it with every weapon rather than having to design the initial weapons, the initial levels to be, for the most part, beatable with any weapon. So now we just got the hard mode going back through everything again. Legit hard mode. Fun trivia is that they were the first draft. Honestly... Oh, hold on. Let me adjust my mic a bit. Maybe after 4 years, I could also probably use another new boom arm, too. Get a sturdy wood chair. I did, actually, back in 2023, and it gave me back problems, and it hurt. No, I have come to the conclusion that my favorite chairs are the office chair persuasion. No, but, the hard mode being the first draft makes way more sense. Wait, are we already at the boss? I forgot what your weakness was. Is this just another basic, weapon? Votem's got the sadistic smile going on, so, I have a feeling this is gonna suck. Oh, no! His ass is fat! So, completely immune to that weapon. Not much damage. Let's see, what was the logic we used last time? Yeah, I thought it was magnets. I can't believe they upgraded Gutsman. What would metal be weak to? Okay, so Spark's weak to Spark? So I didn't recognize that was a, I didn't recognize that was Gutsman's portrait on there. The magnets were doing pretty well. Oh, right, we gotta use Rush anyway. Doc bots? Sorry, I've been old YouTube poop brain, so I was thinking it was Gutsman. It's Doc Robo, a robot designed to replace Megaman and the copy's other's utility. Gotcha. I hope y'all will forgive me for my lack of knowledge. And for not reading it quite well enough. But then again, it's sometimes a little hard to tell with the, very old pixely graphics. One thing I can give them props for... Come on. I tried jumping again. I missed it. Oh, in that case, it downloaded Metal Man's data. Oh! You know, I didn't even think about that in the first place. Yeah, I didn't even realize he was throwing the buzzsaws at me. So yeah, we're doing Mega Man 2 again, I guess. I do remember your cool skull from a while ago, Vodum. I'm saddened that you put the Battletech Atlas in a lower tier, but I probably should have submitted Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu's had a lot of cool skull designs. Imagine the newcomer not knowing stuff. Well, I'm trying my best. Remember to try the jet after the boss. Oh, oh, that. I saw my model freak out when I was taking another drink of tea. Oh, hold on. I choked on my tea. Y'all saw my model warp like that for a moment, right? Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, that's if I start drinking tea while facing the camera, it does that. I need to get a cup that just has a little sippy straw in it. We did already try it for one of the platforming sections earlier. Pop him down and... Oh! You control him! Then I guess you swap to... Yeah, swap to a different weapon. Okay. My guess, Metal Blade is going to be weak to... what is effectively not Metal Blade. Okay, so I saw the big smile that he had, and I was thinking Gutsman. As well as the kind of red and yellow color scheme. That's where I was getting it from. That is not his weakness. Well, I'd be able to tell if Spark was his weakness if I could hit him. So it doesn't seem to be either of those. Oh, no! Well, I can see why all the levels are shorter now. Yeah, get you all the way over here. Does he know .jpeg? Every time y'all do that, it's clear I don't know. Y'all said this was the good part that sucked, so I assume the answer's something I'm not gonna like. Well, we know Shadow Blade already didn't seem to be the weakness. Let's try Snakes. Or, wait, did we try Gemini Laser? Actually, think that was a mid-boss. Well, y'all did say this part would suck. So that is definitely not it. Doing pretty well. I can't quite dodge all of them. I think if we start off in the air when he's setting up to toss him. I think he only fires when he jumps. And we will want that health power up. How do we... Well, yeah, I guess... So we're doing pretty good damage with the knuckles. Knock knock. Oh, well, if I ever hit the rewind button this time, note that I'm doing it on accident. Once we're done with all of this, do y'all want just an authentic playthrough of Mega Man 2? No rewind shenanigans? I mean, I suppose it would be a great way to top it all off. We hadn't tried Needle yet. Yeah, he looks like he's got that smug Gutsman grin, so that's what I was thinking at first. Needles are not the answer. There we go. I beat 2, so I'll be more experienced now. Understood. Oh, yep, so that's mid-boss. Alright. Oh, this is gonna suck. Howdy, Zen. How you doing? Also, I'm thinking, y'all, I'm in the mood to do Relink and Tomodachi on Sunday, since it's been a hot minute. So this... You'll request for me to save now. Yeah, I had a feeling... Alright. Just for the sake of everyone's time. Well, we're not gonna crunch ourselves to doing it all in one stream this time. Okay, so it's not gonna be like that. Learning Tokon, and it's been a struggle because of, oh no, it's gonna be one of these. Well, luckily I got through that section, but unless we've got like 3 more of those to go through. You know what, Oh, hey, look at that! We got the enemy to unload just by having them on the very edge of the screen once we got to this part. Oh yeah, unconditionally, I despise those kinds of, spike pit drop challenges. You see them in quite a few different platformers. I've never been too amused by those. No, go away, I'm taking a drink. I thought we were just gonna have the little platform here to, the, little electric wall to worry about. How about I don't engage with you? OG Megaman doesn't really have any particularly bad spike drops. Last time I remember, yeah, we got a macro to get through that. Unless... Wait, hold on. Yeah, didn't we try this last time? Yeah, I don't think there's any particular weapon those are gonna be weak to. Oh, but we can grind it for drops. Y'all mind if I cheat? I mean, if you want to get technical about it, with metal being malleable, like, a very, very good, actually sharp object being, capable of penetrating metal would be a pretty reasonable weakness for a robot to have. We're pretty good on ammo in general. I don't imagine we'll need the hard knuckle for too much after this. Funny enough, we just got through talking about, Needleman having a fear of injection. That's probably where we want to, rush jet. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, Tyr. I'm no stranger to series where the first game is skippable, because the second one is where everything comes together and actually makes a good game. Hello, I'm a MechWarrior fan. Y'all saw MechWarrior 1 on stream. That game is not worth playing whatsoever. MechWarrior 2, however, is a wonderful game, and during its time was actually considered for multiple awards of, oh, this could be the best game ever, because it was that revolutionary at the time. Everyone cheated. Next time I'll cheat too. In this case, I'm thinking of, the Kick-a-Ball episode of Homestar Runner. Wait, for once, you cheated! I played fair, and you cheated! cheat at my nearest convenience. Well, so far, this hasn't been too bad. And legitimately, I do want to tackle Mega Man 2 again without doing any of the save scumming kind of stuff. You know what? I should sit down and play through Sonic 1, 2, and 3 on stream like that as well. Last time I played through them all together, I did do a little bit of the rewind save scumming kind of stuff. Come on, give me big ammo. I guess we gotta sacrifice a little bit of health for those. I guess that's the technique, is, get a big ammo pickup and then sacrifice a bit of health for it. Well, I wouldn't say I'm worrying about Mega Man 2 so much, Kahila, but I will say the balance of difficulty to length for these games is something that I respect enough that I'd be willing to go back for a second time. A contrary example, I'm sorry to bring it up again, would be Hollow Knight. I do respect the difficulty of those games after playing Silksong, but for how long it is compared to how difficult it is compared to how much fun I was having playing with it, I'm happy to play through those games once and then maybe casually go through them again in another 5 years. I can't say I'm too interested in all the extra stuff that we'd find in Silksong, for example. Which is weird, because I love just about every other Metroidvania I've played. So now we're here at the real boss fight. Yeah, now you're stealing Sparkman power, which I forget your weakness. Alright, how many lives we got? 1. Make it count. Quick Man. Quick Man, right. Right, yeah. You like when people give Quick Man Scout TF2's what? Yeah, because I keep seeing the weapons and I'm like, no, I don't remember this recently. But in the heat of the moment, I keep forgetting who was responsible for what weapons. For the record, calling him a jacket. I had a feeling, like, the second time I read that... the second time I read that, don't worry, no offense taken. Yeah, no, the first time I read that, I was like, huh? And then the second time I read that, I figured it out. No, we're good, we're good. That is... okay. I mean, more than anything, I just want to figure out what his darn weakness is. Though we couldn't even hit him with the Shadow Blade. Quickman did give us quite a bit of trouble the first time around. Let's see. Yeah, we'll try Shadows just to see what ends up happening. So it's not Shadow. He's right behind me, isn't he? Oh, the snakes are doing pretty well. Oh yeah, it's Snake. So we know what to start with next time. But yeah, with how quick... eyebrow wiggle. With how quick he's moving. Yeah, alright, let's do all this again. lead you over here. With how quick he's moving around, it's hard to dodge him. I gotta remember to keep sliding away. No, other page in that spot. Yeah, I got this, P. I do see why y'all were warning me on this taking forever, though. Yeah, if that's only the first third of the game. Count me genuinely super impressed that they fit this much on an NES cartridge. This was NES, right? I'm not... I grew up on a PC. My first console was an Xbox original. So, if there's anything about old Nintendo games, I'm not going to know. I didn't have a console until 2003. I was a PC gamer from 1995 until 2003, and I regret none of that because PC games were great. Technically, this is just recycling the stages. I can see that, yeah. To be fair, we did have a Mega Man 3 PC port, but that would also require me... Okay, so for a bit more context. Taking a drink. And bumping the mic too while I'm at it. For a bit more context. I lived out in the country and had a PC, so I didn't have a neighborhood of friends. Like, you know, a lot of kids growing up will go over to a friend's house if you've just got some of the neighbor kids, and, you know, your neighbor will have a PlayStation, and you get to have the N64, and so y'all both get if you've got good friends with other folks that have every console. You'll be able to experience a lot of those games growing up. Well, I didn't have... my neighbors were all old people, because we were out in the middle of nowhere. So I only had a PC, and I didn't even know what a PlayStation or I didn't even know what a PlayStation or Nintendo was. I liked Pokemon out of the anime media exposure, and didn't even know Pokemon was a Nintendo thing. I need to figure out what our use case for Needle is, because it looks like it's just a copy of the regular weapon that we got. Came out the womb with a PC. Unironically, I think that was basically the case, because my parents did say multiple times that I was on the computer from a young age, but I don't remember the specificities of a lot of the earlier parts of that. I know I was definitely playing MechWarrior games at like the age of 4, possibly 3, possibly even 2. There's a really old picture that y'all will never see, but it was of me like 3 years old playing MechWarrior on the PC, and one of my dad's friends put his motorcycle helmet on me for the bit. You know, like, oh, you're driving a vehicle, you gotta have your helmet on. And that's one of the earliest records, I'd say, of me playing PC games when I was little. I don't know when I started, I just know I was on PC from very early on. Had a lot of education games. Played a lot of the humongous entertainment library. Which, by the way, we will be point-and-clicking our way through those again. We played Spy Fox 1 on stream, but we gotta tackle the other Spy Foxes, Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, all the classics. I almost feel like grinding here is one of our better bets. Bookworm Adventures. So I was on a lot of, PopCap games when I was little. Though my favorite, which we have streamed... Yeah, Bookworm was PopCap. I did not have Bookworm Adventures, but I had... Insane Aquarium... Feeding Frenzy, and... I forget what the other one was. I had one more PopCap game. No, it wasn't Plants vs. Zombies. That was way after the time I was playing them. But yeah, I played a lot of PopCap games when I was little too. A lot of those old Macromedia Shockwave kind of things. So yeah, I did play a lot of little micro games on the internet and stuff. And of course, like around 2006, 2007 when I started getting into Homestar Runner, I played those games too. No, it wasn't Peggle. It was one of the really old ones. So it would not be one of the ones you're thinking of because it would have been one of the very less popular ones before. Bejeweled, that's what it was. Oh, and Chuzzle. Love Chuzzle. No, let me in. Let me have it. Yeah, so I had Bejeweled as well. Let's actually not die to these, please. Funny enough, my mom was also crazy at Bejeweled. And then Chuzzle was a similar enough game. Whoops. I wonder if I should just unbind the rewind, because I keep accidentally pressing it. You know, we could just sit here and grind for, extra lives. I'm just gonna make sure we get one more health pickup. Back to full health. I'm not really too concerned about ammo. We know we're using snakes for the boss. Though I will... Anywho, yeah, that was my history, was all PC up until 2003. So I wasn't even exposed to, like, PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64 stuff until after the fact. It was after I went to school and met other kids that had GameCubes and PlayStation. Well, funny enough, I don't think I had any PlayStation friends. My circle of friends was just, 2 Xbox kids and then, like, 4 or 5 Nintendo kids. So unfortunately, for all our PlayStation fans out there, or maybe fortunately, since y'all get to obligate me into playing a bunch of older Sony games then, I guess. Sony kind of sits in a blind spot for games that I've, played. Polystation? Also, I'm skipping quite a bit of the chat. What was that? Still have a vivid memory of taking the hollow legs off your kiddie table and putting them on your arms and walking around pretending you were a mech. I did that with other props, but yeah, a lot of our fellow mech warrior kids did the same thing. Just double checking on chat since I've been not catching up on it. Doom 2 was usually your babysitter. Funny enough, I never played Doom or Quake. Like, as I said, I had, like, Lego games, edutainment games and such. And then just, for some reason, the violent game I was allowed to play was MechWarrior, but I guess there's a degree of separation there with the fact that you're not seeing blood and guts, you're seeing robots falling over. And they kept the swearing lighter in the earlier games. Like, I think there's only 2 dams or so in the earlier games. You know, I haven't played Deep Rock Galactic in a hot minute. I don't think I've played that since, like, May. Not that I necessarily got bored of it, but... Oh my god, could you get another health? Thank you! You know what, that's good enough for me. We're probably gonna die on our first hit anyway. And, you know, getting all that extra health probably wasn't gonna help. Yeah, worms are a great selection. I never had worms myself. The game. But they're a category of game I like, and I would be happy to play, the new worms we're getting. CS Storm, thank you for hanging around. Alright, no more goofy grinding for supplies. We probably could have beaten him by now. We already know what Domo Origato Doc Robato's weakness is for this level. Regrettably, in hindsight, I think, for what I know, Harry Potter generally has a surprisingly queer fan base that as long as JKR just kept quiet about being a horrible person, it'd still be a very loved by progressives kind of story. I mean, the whole gist of the story can be considered queer-coded. Growing up with a family that doesn't appreciate you very much, and then leaving off to a place that has significantly more magic for you. How many lives we got left? Okay, plenty of them. We don't gotta worry. So I guess the grinding was worth something. If we're not at full health, let's not dump all of our snake ammo. Actually, I didn't even see. I can't remember if we had a little grinding spot right there. I'm just gonna spin this practice round trying to make sure I remember how to... I do not remember how to dodge all this, so... Snakes. Now that we've got the full health to tank through it. We'll give him the Indiana Jones treatment. I thank y'all for warning me about how long this game would be taken as well. Get away from me! I swear! That's another one of my complaints, is I am still on the train of there are very few games I've ever seen ever where enemy hurts you just through making contact doesn't upset me. I'm 30, I can't react to him jumping around like that quickly enough. I'll try. 2 jumps, runs, and shoots in the second jump. I will try to actively remember that. Pizza Tower included? Pizza Tower is structured more like score attack, so... And, you're also capable of just running through enemies and grabbing them, so... The times in which enemies are hazardous to touch is actually a very small portion of the gameplay. And even then, during the regular stage gameplay, it's not going to KO you, it's just going to ruin your score. Ah, we almost had that one. And most of the enemies in Pizza Tower won't actually hurt you just from bumping into you. Like the Fork Knights only hurt you if they slowly walk into you from that one side. Runs, jumps twice. Yeah, no, I wasn't... It's a lot more of the horizontal spacing than anything else that's getting me. Like, I think the biggest gap I'm getting here is just not remembering to slide enough. Because that does move you quicker. Fork, nice. Yeah, I knew what they was doing. I'm gonna try the other stages. You know what? Let's do that. Is there a way to speed up the rewinding? No, I think we're just gonna have to sit through this. Do we have enough rewind? Alright. Nope. Force of habit. Alright. Let's try Shadow Man stage. I'm definitely a... I can beat something by hitting my head against the wall enough times kind of guy. So usually y'all can't expect me to be a bit stubborn enough to keep trying the same stage over and over again. Well, we know about the spike trap there now. And I moved over too quickly. I didn't move over quickly enough. I think that's already all of our yeah, all of our lives gone that quickly. Quickest time we've wiped yet. Alright. And then we go left, and then we go right. Yeah, it did feel a lot wider there. Also, these are reused assets, but they're not the same stages again. Right, we were using... Well, at this point, I just gotta slide underneath him. Tank the little bit of hit. Also, I've been thinking, Kahila, just because I know you are wanting to know the full range of opinions. I think out of Mega Man 2, I liked Airman stage the best. I'm still thinking on which boss fight I'd like the most. Probably Heatman, just for having a pattern I could figure out a lot easier. I'd probably enjoy a different boss a lot more once I get to the point of, oh, I know how to beat this guy. Airman stage is just so cool, love the very stylized enemies. Mild take, love the Cyclops walkers, they got so much personality with that half-lidded eye. Oh boy. You know what, there's no shame. Oh, whoops. There's no shame in it. Now, if there comes up a different point where I'd have to be using Rush Jet, then maybe I'll change my mind on that. But if they give you the tools, you might as well use them. I'll take a wild guess, Needle, just because we haven't used Needle enough. Remember to short hop when using Rush Jet to save on ammo. Oh, wood. Wait. I guess Needles would still be good against wood. Oh, yeah. Oh, but that's gonna put me back at the very beginning. Alright. Right there down the middle, and then hug. Yeah, I don't think I dropped down quickly enough to remember that guy. Yeah, that shield definitely feels a lot wider and differently timed than how it was in Mega Man 2. There we go. Get a lot more ammo for you. Yeah, the waterfall low-key making me kind of thirsty. Gotta get me some of that Hawaiian punch. This stream is not sponsored. Oh! Got by just in time. Alright. You know what? I'll respect it this time. And just that one time. It's sewer water? Well, as long as I don't look at it too closely, it'll still be appetizing. Don't think Sewer Water Boy is a canonical robot master. Oh hey, there was actually a point to doing that. I noticed we haven't really picked up any more E-tanks, so... I don't know if there's any that are in accessible parts of these stages. A tier list of the stage enemies. I'll have to look back at them a lot more, because that's definitely something I can't think of while I'm in the middle of trying to lock in on this. Me in my old age, I have gotten to the point where I think I've come to understand, well, I wouldn't even call it an old age thing. I've just come to understand that, hey, if I'm having to pay attention to chat and my own posture and the game I'm playing, that is dividing my attention actively in so many different places at once, where the extra thinking while I'm in the middle of a difficult gameplay segment would be counterproductive. Like, that's why I was being such a chatterbox while we were just grinding against the trash blocks in the, Sparkman stage. Yeah, I'm just gonna rush chat through this. Thanks for the tip, Kahila. Actually, I feel like the snakes would be good against those guys. Or at least on the terrain right here with all the dips. We get a lot of ammo for the snakes too, might as well use them more often. Alright, we are looking at... Needle was what we want to use. I never liked this attack pattern, because the leaves weaving back and forth, I have trouble figuring out what to do with. Yeah, I guess I gotta be closer to that, and... Okay, so what we pay attention to is the leaves falling. And it looks like roughly when they're in the middle of the screen is when we jump. I did just run out of... Okay, putting this exact pattern in Danmaku. I had a feeling it would come back to a Danmaku joke. Real quick, just because I ran out of tea again, let's pop on another break, just so I can refill. And it'll be a real quick one, and I'll be right back, and we get right back to business. See y'all in a second. And we are back. Alright, got our little pause in there. Walking past all the sewer Kool-Aid. We are getting close to our 3-hour point, so what I'm hoping for is... if we don't get to the very end of any of these stages, then we at least get a sample of a few of the things that await us. After all. After all, one of the best ways to start learning something is to sleep on it. After getting a little bit of experience with it, you take some time to rest, it settles into your brain, and then we know what to worry about for next time. And I plan on Megaman being early in the week for next week. I gotta check my schedule. Because I don't know what my work schedule is for this upcoming week. Luckily, I'm going to be busy on Friday and Saturday, but I get Sunday and Monday off again. I'm probably going to use Sunday as a Relink and Tomodachi day, so just kind of a vibe day. I keep forgetting about that. And then I'd like to leave Megaman for... oh, what the... oh. Okay. Yeah, I imagine there's a reason the stage got dark like that for that moment. Yeah, the snakes are really good at this stretch of terrain. My weekend doesn't matter so much, V. I mean, I am on my last day of a week-long vacation, so it's more like my previous week has been great, even if I've done absolutely nothing. Before my vacation week, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use this time to program and get some stuff ready for stream, and then when it got here, I've done absolutely nothing productive. But given that it's my first full week off since I started this job in 2023, I think it's proper that I just give myself a week to do absolutely nothing. Fine then, hope my weekend sucks. Well, I could join y'all for Street Fighter and then and y'all will make it suck. I say that with love. I say that with respect for how good y'all are at Street Fighter. Okay, so I don't quite know what the timing is on that. I guess now I have to actually figure out how to dodge that pattern. Because previously we just ended up, smoking Woodman. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna do that, so we have full lives to start on the next cycle. But thank you for the wall wishes, V. I'm certain this weekend's going to be wonderful. Alright. Locking in. I guess it's implicitly a very, very tight timing, but kind of a consistent one, because they give you a lot of telegraph for the Woodman's attack pattern. So it's something I just got to trial and error enough to learn. Wait, we could just keep through snakes, like, on this whole section. And then magnets for the guys upstairs. What? I don't know how useful magnets are going to be for the rest of the stage. One more try. I don't think I'm getting through to the boss is the thing. Like, just the first instance of... Oh, wait, yeah, that's... the end of that stretch. Okay. I don't think it'll make much of a difference on us swapping to other stages, because every single one of them is going to put me through the ringer. This is person who is new to classic Megaman playing classic Megaman, so... might as well try to see if he's weak to any other weapons. Yeah, not that. Though, wait, with the way the leaves fall, I think we can just jump at the very, very edge of the stage. But I will have the knowledge. I wish I had a Patchouli knowledge. Just right here. Reading books. I don't even have to be interacting with her, just to be in the presence of such magnificence. I think it's funny how such a fundamentally kind of silly character design ended up being so immensely popular. Like, even among Touhou 6 characters, she seems to be exceptionally popular. magnet this guy first. How high do we get up with Rush? There we go. I got rid of him. Why is it still dark? Oh well, we know we're rush jetting through this whole area anyway. I'm guessing that's just a glitch that occasionally happens. Flan, then Pache, then Sakuya, then Mei Ling, then Remy. Yeah, that checks out. I'm surprised that Remilia, for being the 6-stage boss, is significantly less popular than a lot of the other characters in Touhou 6. Extra magnets just in case. Yeah, so this isn't going to work either. I'm just now realizing that we kind of have to not get hit on the way here to the mid-boss. Alright, I think if I hug the wall and then just jump with the right timing, we should be good. Because it looks like the leaves didn't reach to the very, very edge of the screen. Okay, so we want to jump when they're about 50% of the way down, I think. Well, no, I have to move forward as well if I want to get reliably over the leaf shield. Watching me play this made you appreciate Megaman 3 a bit more? How so? So far, this one definitely feels way more consistent difficulty-wise than Mega Man 2, I will say that. And that seems to be the consensus of a lot of other people. There we go. As long as we can get through this first section without taking damage, I think we'll be fine. Because the needles are easy to hit and they're doing a lot of damage. So it might be a situation where we can just face tank. Oh, another life just in case. And more snakes. 3 is your least favorite classic game, mainly because you played on the original console. That I can see being an issue. With the less lag from the re-release and small quality of life stuff, it's been a lot more enjoyable. Well, I'm glad. There's definitely a lot of games I've revisited after the fact, after playing a lot more quality of life games, and been upset with the obtuseness of a lot of older games I put up with. Heck, I mentioned I've been remodding Morrowind. Also, that it won't have the muscle memory of 30 frames versus 45 of Invuln. I can't think off the top of my head of too many games I've played way before and then gone back and enjoyed more a second time when I didn't enjoy them so much the first time. Most of the games that I go back and play way later, I usually have a slightly worse opinion of on subsequent playthroughs, if I didn't already love it the first time, I'd say. Alright, so wait till they're halfway down. Jump! And get hit anyway. Yeah, just mash through that, I guess. And hope we have a spot to grind health up here. That's something. Earthbound and Fire Emblem 11. Actually, I haven't really gone back and played a lot of those. Yeah, I'll need to think about that. Because I've even replayed quite a few games on this channel, which were games I had from way earlier in my childhood. Heck, just earlier this year was Fire Red, which was alright on the second playthrough. I mean, it was a good experience, but as far as Pokemon games go, I definitely miss a lot of the better game design decisions that came in newer iterations, for sure. Alright, I'm being attacked by a Skrunko, so... Oh. Let me put him up on the desk. Didn't click with Earthbound when you were a teen, then on a whim you played it in your mid-20s. Earthbound is very much a game that you appreciate the older you are, for sure. You tend to understand a lot more of the references it's making. Where did I put my... There did I put my Skrunko. Also, stay away from that keyboard, mister. Lay down. He's being very much in the way. He is sitting down right in front of the screen. Also, I can probably move my model a little bit up more to the side. Yeah, I have to wait till he lays down and gets bored. He really just wanted to hop up here to be in my way. I think he knows. I think he knows if I'm not actively using my keyboard, that he'll still try to be in my way. Because usually when I'll be gaming with the keyboard, he'll lay down and then put his paws all over said keyboard. But right now, he's just sitting, staring at the screen and covering up most of the real estate. Are you gonna lay down, Mr. Skrunko, or am I going to have to banish you? Alright, get out of here. He's purring. He's a very wonderful cat, but his favorite hobby is getting in the way. And I mean, we all know cats are smart. I think he is generally smart enough to know that he is getting in the way. With how much he asks for my attention, I'm quite certain he knows when and how to disrupt what I'm doing the most. So, just as a warning, I'm about to die. Yeah. Am I out of lives yet? Okay, not yet. Well, there's our full health restore. Uh-oh. Yeah, stuff like that is what I have to complain about these games. Enemies respawning on screen, and I'm quite certain they're deliberately placed in setups like that where trying to backtrack ends up punishing you more. Crickets are also weak to... Wait, that's right, they go along the ground. I hadn't even thought about that. But then again, Snake was the second to last weapon we got anyway. There we go. See, you gotta be careful, because they don't know when and how they're popping up next. Yeah, because they're set in just the right position to ambush you. Which, I would say is good difficulty design, of course. Uh-oh. And with just enough distance each time to be disruptive. I think that's our... Nope, that's not our last life. Welcome back, Storm. An issue you have with the menu comes from having Spark as SP, but you think of Topspin as SP. Yeah, the name overlap is definitely weird. I think the menu in this one, for accessing all your weapons, it's not so bad once you have the full inventory. But when you have an incomplete inventory, it was definitely a lot more difficult to use. Hey, I just got a new keyboard myself, Storm. You know, we can probably just breeze through this with magnets. And Rush Jet, of course, but... Huh. Guess that's telling us there's an enemy up there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, funny, you can kind of use it to scout around. Okay, so he was further along to still ambush me like that anyway. Alright. Y'all said to try another stage, so let's give another good old college try to... We'll do the needle stage again. Good job, Cricket. Yeah, no, I think I just need to have... Rather than trying to, like, react to what's going on there, I just need to have a magnet already being fired while I'm mid-jump. Also interesting, we've got a different backdrop on this one. Like, it's not just recycling the exact same tile set. As I've said, I'm one of the strongest defenders of asset reuse, and when it's done right, you get really cool things out of it. Even just swapping out one asset and reusing the rest of them can really change how one section feels. I don't really think I need that health. Though, with the right spacing, I can probably get it no harm, no foul. Yeah. It's funny how you see so many of these traps kind of redesigned in the Stinko Man game. Or enemies, I guess. Like, it's very clear where the inspiration for those games came from. Yeah, it is a very poppy-sounding soundtrack. So, we know where an easy-to-access E-Tank is. You did mention previously how we save up E-Tanks every time we end up dying in this game. Dev was a fan of Junko Ohashi. Okay, that one's a wall. Oh, well. Oh, lucky accident, I guess. Let's see. I actually don't know who we're getting first. Ah, Airman. Airman is going to be weak too. Maybe Magnets, maybe Sparks, but that could just be my Pokemon fan speaking to me. Magnets are okay, but definitely not the answer. I keep forgetting about the breeze. It makes me forget I'm being pushed back. Like, it's invisible, so I can't remember it too well. Yeah, if we're quick enough. That was a bad idea. Iframe saved me again. And no health pickup this time. Sliding is an option to dodge too. Got it. Wait, yeah, if we've only got... Like you said a few streams ago, it's a case of... You're normally 1 block wide by 2 blocks tall. It's hard for me to remember that with how square Megaman's stance is. But I gotta ignore the feet. So yeah, if we only got, like, a projectile that's 1 grid space off the ground, I can just end up dodging that by, sliding underneath. Well, now we'll have to do this in 1 try. I'll try the laser, which is a bad idea, but I'll try it anyway. For some reason, my brain thought duck the first one, so I ended up tapping down, which, no, Mega Man doesn't have a ducking option. And then I hit jump, which ended up just making me slide into that projectile. Oh well, we get to stack up on E-tanks like this. You love how bad the redrawn Airman is? What, could they not just copy over the exact same sprites? I mean, I know we got palette limitations. They couldn't just reuse the sprites, alright. And then I will take your advice here and just spam the... Oh, whoop! I did not mean to use the E-tank. Alright. Alright, easy from the start. Since he mostly stands still, I'm gonna see about just firing off the... Okay, yeah, he does look a little lopsided, I see that now. So that's not the weakness. Yeah, his face looks a little misaligned from where his fan is. Like, his eyes aren't centered, is what I'm seeing. We did dodge under a few projectiles that time. Also, we're almost out of Rush. And now we're out of Rush. His tornado projectiles also look off. They were short on ROM, which is why you think all the refrites use the same sprite. Yeah. Again, it was the era of we really gotta push our console's limits in order to get what we want out of it. So I know in this stage we can get more E-tanks to stock up on. If we end up having too much trouble with some of these fights, we just get a lot of them and save them up like that. Alright, fine. So it's not the Gemini beam. I'm going to assume it's not Needle. I want to hope it's not snakes. Because, like, leaves getting stuck in the fan makes sense, but if the whole idea is clogging the fan with snakes, I don't want to think about that. Shadow doesn't reach far enough. I'm gonna try Spark. Which, does this weapon have any gimmick? Like, Spark and Needle, do they have any actual gimmick to them? Because they both look like they're just, very linearly fired projectiles. It was Snake for quick. That's right, that's right, that's right. Alright, we'll take a quick peek at the Gemini Man stage. Oh, Spark is a freeze the enemy weapon. I think I missed that very specific... Because I do remember you mentioning freeze the enemy. Needle is just extremely high fire rate. Gotcha. We'll give it a good old college try for this one, and then we'll be out for the night. For what I know, I do think I have a closing shift tomorrow, so I will hop into the Discord for a vibe sesh afterwards. Which, if you pop up, Kahila, I have some good old-fashioned brain-damaging videos to show you that I think you might get a kick out of. Weird, I thought I fired a projectile there. It'll only be 5 minutes of your time, Kahila. And I'm sure you've seen them before. Oh, wow. Proto Man's handiwork isn't even left here. I like how faithfully they wrote Mega Man's whole moveset into Smash. Like, for such an incredibly simple moveset, it's very, very faithful and it still works very well in a platform fighter environment. With how little Mega Man experience I had, I never imagined he'd actually just be basically exactly this button smash. but I guess people have a really, really big attachment to the very, very classic Mega Man games. Yeah, I love that they made Ryu work so well. Gives me hope for me making my own platform fighter that's more fighting game than platform fighter. You know, because I think we need more platform fighters that are not trying to be Smash Bros. And that's my game dev hope. Alright, it was a lot... So it looks like we started out with the two most difficult stages. And then every stage that we've tried afterwards just ended up getting easier than the last one. I think I'm gonna actually have to write down who's weak to what. You just want to make funny little breakout game? I can teach you. Oh, well... I feel like in a, juicy twist of irony, this might actually be a Gemini situation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, use the laser on Flash Guy. Flash Guy, obsoleted in 2020. Do we need that ammo? I guess. Uh-oh. So, fun fact. Yeah, let's try this with the Rush Marine. In the Japanese version, Flashman's machine gun is bugged, so he only fires one shot. Skip this whole section if we play our cards, right? Ah, I see. They're all gonna be stuck up there since they can't go off screen, so... Oh, right, we have... Wait. Okay, water gives us extra jumping power, because... For some reason, a metal character's gonna be slightly buoyant, I guess. Okay, they automatically climb down any ladders in their path. It's very dense water. Uh-oh. Swapping the Shadow Blade like, I should have done this like 1,000,000 years ago! Hey, a health power. Alright, let's see. Who could we run into here? We've already seen Metal Man, Quick, Air. And lots of lives to get through this with, so let's find a weakness and find it quick. Who would be underwater? Bubble Man, which is, I'd imagine, weak to Needles or Shadow Blade. Or maybe we just have to go the electric angle. You know, I'm gonna try that first. Yeah, that was something we could brute force, apparently. I don't even know if that was his weakness. Alright, we actually beat one of the stages, so I think we'll have to go in reverse order next time. So starting with Needleman, then Shadow, then Spark, because that seemed to be the ascending order of difficulties for those stages. Remember to write down the password, or I could do this, and just be ready with that for next time. Though, I suppose you do have a good point. How much do I gotta rewind to make sure we gotta get that password? I do like that Mega Man's eyes also look in the direction of whatever he's facing. Yeah, like, I think it's fine to have the save state stuff arranged like that, but just in case. F12 screenshot taken. You'll be watching the VOD since you missed the first hour. It's mostly me flopping around on Needleman stage and getting destroyed. When we got to Gemini Man stage, we stuck with that one and ended up winning. This era password is annoying to work with. Yeah, but we're fine at we're fine at this point. We've got save state to work with, so we're good. You're very welcome for the stream, Kahila. I know y'all are having such a delight with this. I am too. I'm gonna vibe for the last few hours I got on my week off, and I will be... Okay, hold on. I'll check my DMs after stream. I will be taking a week off in the middle of October, if they'll let me. Which they should. I've got way too many vacation hours saved up. It's funny, they asked... So, the case of this past week was... They had too many hours scheduled, so they were asking people to cut, meaning specifically unpaid time off. Which is fine by me, since after getting the new position in May, I'm ahead on my bills again. However, like, I didn't want to use paid time off during the time they're explicitly trying to cut hours due to budget reasons. So, I have paid time off accumulated to use later, so I'm planning on taking another week off in October, presumably on the launch week for the new Castlevania game that Motion Twin's gonna be responsible for. Because I'm gonna be on that day one. I have to be. May just sketch the Magnet Man, me and Sin in my way, but don't feel pressed to add any more characters on your behalf. I mean, I'd be delighted to. I gotta work with Tomodachi more. Though he is very obvious on how to design a lot of Mega Man characters are, and I do like that about them. As I've said before, I love simple, straightforward, and obvious character designs, since I think that's effective character design, but that's also me coming from a fighting game background of, if you look at a character, you need to immediately know what they're going to be doing. But I've had my week to absolutely do nothing, and now that I've had my relaxation time, I'm gearing up for October being a probably big streaming month for us. We got lots of October spooky Halloween things to be doing, as well as the new Castlevania releasing. And we'll just pad the time until then. I'll figure out what we end up doing for, like, from now until the start of November. I should have generally a bit more of an okay schedule, but then things will crunch a bit more from November through basically the beginning of February, so that's going to be a whole 3 months there, where I might end up having difficult schedules that make it to where I can't stream very often. So I'll try to fit in a lot of streams between now and the beginning of November, as much as I can. Alright, I'm going to tab out, which is going to... Yep, that's going to hit the pause button immediately. So, let's see who, if any of the friends on Twitch are doing anything cool right now. Oh, Outer Wilds, obviously. Okay, we got a raid in on Chris. Let me double check their stream real quick to make sure we're not getting in on super mega spoiler territory. And again, as I always say for Outer Wilds, the single best game I've ever played, but it is something you do not want to spoil yourself for if you are not already familiar with it. So, if you have not experienced Outer... because I know a lot of people in my regular audience would have already seen the game, y'all enjoy your evening with Chris, if possible. Otherwise, I do think the most responsible thing to be would be having out for now. But like out of the other friends playing right now, we've rated Braun recently. We've rated Oak kind of recently. I think we've rated Chris even more recently, but I always want to pop in and see how Chris is doing. Our raid message is gonna be autopilot into the sun. No punctuation, no. So make that as hilarious as possible. I will pop that URL for those of y'all on the YouTube side. The next thing I'm planning on doing is hopefully things are all right on Sunday, and then I can end up doing that as a Grand Blue and Tomodachi stream, since we're getting back into the usual vibes. And then expect the schedule to mostly be like this for a while now. Tomodachi, Mech Warrior, Megaman, Grand Blue Relink while I'm trying to catch up on that. And I'd like to try to fit in one more stream, but I don't know what kind of short-term or longer-term thing I'm going to do with that. I'm still really, really wanting to do things like Digimon Time Stranger, which released like a year ago at this point, and I've been itching to play it this entire time. Still haven't had a chance. But I know that's going to take like 70 hours to complete, so that's going to be something I have to dedicate a whole 6 months to. We'll play it by ear as I figure out what works on my list. Thank you everyone for your attendance. And class is dismissed. Enjoy y'all's evening.